Hi there. My name is Mr. Junel Joshua Rosales. You can call me Sir JJ, and welcome to my class. So before we start, I want you to sit properly or sit tight. I want you to sit comfortably. I also want you to get some notebook and pen so that you can write some notes, or well, you can also have a bit of snack so that you can stay awake. No, and most importantly, I want you to be present right now. Okay, so are you ready? Okay, so let's get started. But before we start to our main topic or lesson, I would like to give you an activity. So this activity is not actually very hard. It's very easy. What you need is book, a book. But later on, get ready to prepare other books. Okay. So as I am saying, we need a book. So I want you to get one book here. So here's a book in my end, and I want you to hold it like this. Okay, so put it on your palm and hold it like that. And you can count 1 to 5, all right, as you hold the book. So for example, we can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What do you feel? So you think it's easy, right? Because the book is only one and um, it's actually very light. Now, while holding the book this way, I want you to get 2 books. So in my end, I'm going to get 2 books, right? So 2 books on the book that you're holding and place it on your hand like this. Okay, so what do you feel now? Well, if you will notice, it's a little bit heavier than the other, right? Now, let's add another 2 books. And place it on those books or on this box. So what do you feel? It's it's heavier. Now, let's add another 2 books and place this books on your hand like this. And I want you to count from 1 to 5. And I want you to add 2 more books and place these books on your hand again. And try to count 1 to 5 while holding those books. All right. So what do you feel now? Yes, it's heavier. It's really heavier, right? Um, a while ago we tried to hold one book and it's very light. Now, if you try to hold a lot of books, it's heavy. Now, did you know that this activity is very connected to our lives? Yes. Why? How does it happen? Well, the book symbolizes, or your hand rather, symbolizes your life. And the books symbolize the things that you want to handle in your life. This can be your family, relationship, your studies, your work. What else? Your jowa. What else? Your Netflix or video games. What else? The things that you want to happen, that you're trying to hold. But what if these things became a burden or become a burden? You cannot hold or you cannot you cannot hold things at the same time. So you need to make sure that you hold those things one by one. And because of that, because of our desire to handle everything, we become stressed. And today, we're going to talk about how we can handle stress. So let me go ahead and share you my screen. Today, we are going to talk about coping with stress in middle and late adolescence. So for this topic, we are going to identify the causes and effects of stress in one's life. And we're going to demonstrate or know personal ways to cope with stress and maintain mental health. So basically, stress is actually not a bad thing, right? And stress can happen as a stimulus and response. What does it mean? So as stimulus, stress can trigger events, okay? And these events happened because of the uh, transition of aspects of life. For example, moving to a new home or moving to a new school or moving to a new life, moving on from a broken relationship, right? So it can be stressful. Now, stress can also be can also become a response. What does it mean? Stress can be a reaction. So if something has trigger, you will feel stressed, and that is the response. Okay, and you become stressed because of what? This hormones, glands, and nervous system, where the adrenal gland drives the production of cortisol. Okay? So, to make it simpler, people, stress is good, but if uh if we are going to hold it too long, it can become bad for our health. So paano ba nagkakaroon ng stress? So biologically speaking, stress is caused by cortisol. So cortisol is a stress hormone, and it is responsible for the fight or flight response. Ano po yun, Sir JJ? Fight or flight response is the idea in which uh, if there's a certain situation that can trigger you to fight or to run, that's fight or flight response. Okay? And the cortisol activates the survival instinct of a person. So halimbawa, 'di ba? Kapag may sunog, ano nangyayari? Nagagawa mong magbuhat ng mga malaking bagay. Ano pa? Nagagawa mong mag makasurvive sa iba pang mga bagay pag halimbawa hinabol ka ng aso, 'di ba? Now, ah hindi siya nagiging maganda kapag marami ka ng cortisol. Okay? Why? Because this cortisol is a dangerous or what I can say is this is actually dangerous if there's too much cortisol. It can actually cook your brain. Opo. Pwede niyang maluto ang utak mo. Kaya ano nangyayari? Nakakalimutan natin ang iba't ibang bagay. Okay? So that's why we become burnout. Ano pa? Uh, Nagkakasakit tayo. Okay? Naapektuhan yung ating immune system. Okay? So kapag stress ka at hindi mo na kaya ang mga bagay-bagay sa buhay mo, ano po nangyayari? Napapagod ka at napapagod din ang ibang system natin. Okay? So, what is stress? Stress is the reaction, the mind and body to a stimulus that disturbs the well-being, state of calm, or equilibrium. Why? Because our body should be in a balanced level, right? Okay? Kapag walang stress, anong mangyayari? Pwede tayong mamatay. At kapag sobra naman ang stress, pwede ka ring mamatay. So, our stress level should be balanced in the middle. Okay? And stress has actually two types. So, a healthy stress is the first type, and the second type is, of course, it's unhealthy. Okay? So, a healthy stress is a kind of stress that can energize you, that can motivate you to become the best that you can be. Okay? So, for example, no, halimbawa ikaw ay isang athlete and nasa isang crucial game ka. Di ba? So, ano nangyayari? Matindi ang stress dyan. Kasi, crucial game, tapos pwede kayong matalo, pwede kayong manalo, nakaka-pressure. It can be a healthy stress if you're going to use it as something that can motivate you to win. Okay? That is healthy stress. Okay? Now, it becomes unhealthy if there's or if there are bad effects. For example, um, you become sick. Ano pa? You become moody. So, it's not healthy. Ano pa po? Kapag stress ka, marami kang inaaway na tao. So, that's unhealthy stress. Okay? So, ano ba yung meron sa mga stress natin? Okay? Ano yung meron sa mga stress natin? Okay? So, so there, our stressors can be identified into two categories. So first is the external stress or external stressor, sorry. And the other hand, or another one is internal stressor. So how can we differentiate these two? So external stressors, these are the things that happen outside. So these are the things that you experience. Okay? Halimbawa, ayan, new student ka, nag-transfer ka from senior high to college, or nag-transfer ka from junior high to senior high. That's an external stressor. Okay? Ano pa? Nag-break kayo ng jowa mo. Yan, is an external stressor. Okay? Now, internal stressors, these are the thoughts that that you, of course, that you think about, even if there's no, even if there's uh, no trigger at all. Alam mo yung halimbawa na nakahiga ka lang, tapos biglang papasok yung iniisip mo na, anong balak mo sa buhay mo? Mga ganyang bagay. It's an internal stressor. Di ba? Yung mga halimbawa, habang kumakain ka, biglang maisip na, anong gagawin mo pag tumanda ka na? Mga ganyan. Saan ka magka-college? O anong gagawin mong trabaho? Di ba? Yan ang internal stressors. Okay? So, now, how can we cope with these things? Yes, I understand. It's very stressful. If you think of the future, you can be so stressed about it. If you think of the things that you need to do, it's so very, very stressful. Now, how can we get rid of the negative effects of stress? So, it's very important for us to do coping. Coping is the ability of the person to deal with stress. Okay? But make sure your dealing ability of the stress that you have is in a healthy way. Okay? Kasi marami kasing mga tao na hindi nila kayang mag-cope sa stress na sa magandang paraan. 'Di ba? For example, ng mga hindi magandang paraan ng pag-cope sa stress is yung nagsa-self-harming, yung naglalaslas. Yan. It's not healthy coping mechanism. Okay. Ano pa? overeating, okay? If you have noticed, I specified overeating. Eating is a good coping mechanism, okay? But too much eating, yung to the point na parang wala nang bukas, parang bibitayin ka na, di ba? It's not a healthy coping mechanism. And there are two ways in which you can cope. For example, or the first one is emotion focused. So, this particular coping mechanism or coping ability is to lessen the effect of the stressful situation. So, anong ginagawa? Ayan, nag-exercise, di ba? Ano pa? Nagre-relax ka, naglalaro ka ng games, ano pa? Nanonood ka ng Netflix, di ba? Ng movie, ano pa? Kinakausap mo yung mga kaibigan mo. Yan ang emotion-focused coping mechanism. Okay? Meditation is also an example of emotion-focused. Halimbawa, you read the Bible, ano pa? You read motivational books. Okay? All right. So let me also give you a tip, no? If you want to fall asleep in a quick manner, no? There's this particular exercise, no? So you just need to do proper breathing. Okay? Now, bakit ginagawa ang proper breathing para makatulog? Because it regulates the flow of the blood movement. Okay? So, what do we do? You just need to inhale for 4 seconds, hold it for 7 seconds, and release it for 8 seconds. Okay? So, let's practice it. Let's try it. Okay? Inhale, hold, release. Okay? Now, do it several times. Okay? Repetitive, in a repetitive manner. Okay? So, ulit-ulitin mo siya hanggang sa antukin ka na. Okay? Ganoon po ang isang exercise para ikaw ay makatulog. Okay? So, maraming pwedeng gawin. Basta makalimutan mo yung stress o malesen yung stress level. Now, another coping exercise, or I can say coping uh, way is, all right, so before that, no, here are the healthy skills to cope up. So these are the practical steps. So you can just create the image of the problem. So what does it mean? You need to look at the big picture. Okay? Seek group or social support. You need to talk to other people. Huwag mong sarilinin ang problema o ang stress mo. Kasi pag sinarili mo at nagpatong-patong yan, bibigat yan tulad kayo ng libro na ginawa natin, bibigat yan at sasabog ka, which is hindi maganda. Get into relaxation activities. Okay? Now, if gaming can make you relax, go. Pero kung sa paglalaro mo, magalit ka, sisigaw ka, hindi yan relaxation activity. Okay? So make sure relaxation activity like sleeping, okay, meditation, all right? Those are very helpful. Another thing, create situation where you can feel more relaxed. Well, it's this also the same with with the number 3. Number 5, learn to manage your time. Yes. So what does it mean? Okay, learn to prioritize the things that you need to do. Okay? For example, ikaw ay procrastinator. You know what procrastinator means? But you tend to procrastinate. You tend to say mamaya na yan or bukas na yan, no? Then after that, you're going to cram. Okay? Now, there's a certain technique called Pomodoro technique. Pomodoro technique. And how can we do it? So, if you're a procrastinator, using that technique, um, for the first 25 minutes, do your task. So you can set an alarm, or yes, you set an alarm for 25 minutes and avoid any distraction. So what you just need to do is focus on your task for 25 minutes. Now, once the timer or the alarm goes on, you take a break. Now, you take a break for 5 to 10 minutes only. So you can also alarm and do what you want for 5 to 10 minutes. Okay? And after doing that, go back to your task for 25 minutes. Okay? So do then 5 to 10 minutes break, then go back to your task 25 minutes. So what does it mean? Or how does it implies? No? Or what does it imply? Sorry. Simple lang po. Uh, it's not being uh goal-oriented, but it's being consistent in making or in reaching your goal. No? Kasi iba-iba tayo. We all have different uh, upbringing, and we have different things to, or different techniques on how we can handle ourselves. So so there are people that they can actually do their tasks for several hours, tapos mabilis yung kanilang trabaho. Yung iba naman, hindi nila kayang gawin yun. So, it's important for you to know what kind of person you are when it comes to task, uh, in doing your task. Okay? And eat properly by selecting nutritious, healthy food. Okay? Avoid skipping meals. Okay? So, syempre balance. Gulay, meat, kanin. Okay? So, ganon. Hindi puro milk tea, hindi puro fries. Okay? Ganon po. Now, the last coping skill is what we call problem focused. This one gives remedy or solution to the problem itself. So, a while ago, uh, emotion focused, it talks about the idea that you just need to lessen the feeling of stress. Now, here you are going to lessen the stress itself by uh, identifying the problem and identifying the possible solution. So how are we going to do this one? You need to define the problem first. Okay. So what are the problems? You need to be problem oriented here. Problem oriented and at the same time solution oriented. Now, generate possible solutions. Anong pwede mong gawin? Kung ang problema mo ay task problem, halimbawa, nai-stress ka na yung mong gagawin, yan, Pomodoro technique is very helpful. Okay? O kaya, one task at a time. Ano pa? You can search the internet on how you can make your task efficiently. Halimbawa, di ba marami na ngayon yung mga websites or applications na nagbibigay ng ideas para masagot ang isang problem, di ba? Tapos, try to weigh those solutions. So, from the solutions that you have uh, developed, now, choose what is the most important solution, or what I can say, the most realistic solution. Okay? And do the solution. That's the problem focused. So let me go ahead and give you a certain infographic about this. So look for the problem, hanapin ang impormasyon, kunin ang best idea, gawin ang problem, and evaluate. Sige, paano to? Halimbawa, ang problem natin ay, halimbawa, the problem is, you don't know kung saan ka magka-college. Okay? Like that. So, Identify the problem. I don't know where I'm going to study my college degree. So explore information, create ideas. How? Okay, pwede kang sumagot ng mga psychological tests through your counselor, no? Para makita mo kung ano yung bagay ng school para sa'yo at yung course sa bagay sa'yo. What else? Search for the best schools that offer the right course for you. Okay? And start, ano pa? Know the requirements, di ba? Select the best idea. Saan yung school na pwede ka based sa kakayahan mo, based sa financial stability mo. Ano pa? Based sa schedule mo. So once you have already chose a university or a college, now build and test idea. Ano po? Gawin mo na. Magpasa ka ng requirements, magsimula ka ng entrance exam, okay? And evaluate the result. Ano po ibig sabihin nito? Tingnan mo. Uh, sa ginawa mong solusyon, ano ang dapat mong baguhin o ano ang dapat mong i-maintain. Okay? That's the problem-solving loop or that's a problem-focused coping ability. Okay? So, to sum it up, we discussed about the nature of stress. We have learned that stress is not really bad. Okay? It's actually good. What we just need to do is maintain the balance of stress level. Okay? It's not bad to have stress, but don't let your life to be full of stress. Okay? That's what really matters. Now, it's actually inevitable for us to become not so stressed because we want to handle everything in our lives. We want to know things for our lives. We want everything to be accomplished in a definite time. But we are just human beings. Okay? We get tired. So what do we do? You can actually choose between the emotion focused and the problem focused to lessen the stress level. So if you choose the emotion focused, well, what happened? You do relaxing activities, you sleep, you do leisures. What else? You do what you want just to forget or lessen the stress. And the problem focus is you directly solve the problem so that the stress level can be lessened. Okay? So there you go. So for your assignment, no, I want you to answer this question. Okay? What have you learned to our lesson for today? Okay? So that's the first question. The second question is, aside from the the tips that I have shared with you, can you tell other exercises or tips in order to handle stress? So just type it in the Microsoft Word and submit it in our Google Classroom. I will post a submission post.